Massive love shout out to Babe's channel. Woo! Thank you so much for your comments. Yes, this is a wealth creation studio platform for the entire world. This is amazing. Yes, we have volume today. Thank you so much for letting me know that we didn't have volume yesterday. Massive love shout out to everybody. Massive love shout out to the world. We're going to get right into today's session. The SHIB Worldwide 50 raffle is kicking live and well. Okay, yesterday we had a huge problem with volume. Yeah, so we had a massive problem with the website, just so everybody knows. And yes, you did not have a chance to buy tickets yesterday. I was trying to do something different with the website, and I got shut down. So there was another website developer that I could go with that was a lot cheaper. And well, I don't know if it was any better, but I mean, so it's cheaper, and it's costing me roughly around $20 a month to host this event every month. And without ticket sales, it's very difficult to, call upon the event and get it going. The whole purpose of this raffle business is to increase everybody's wealth at the same time that we are decreasing the amount of supply, increasing demand as time goes on with the raffle. So the whole idea was that we would drive massive awareness to the entire world. I was hoping that the WebR from ooh, from Google Alphabet would help with that creation in the SEO because they basically have the worldwide on the string when it comes to like YouTube, when it comes to Google accounts, because it's worldwide, it's global, it's a global phenomenon, right? So like on that aspect of it, they're in the interest of making money. So the better my chances of making everybody else wealthy, the more chances they have becoming extremely wealthy themselves. And if they got into SHIB, they'd understand that wealth creation is indeed a phenomenon that no one else is offering. And that's the truth of it. And the fact that no one else is taking advantage of it, that's amazing because of the amount of debt that the world's in right now is truly astonishing, to say the least. SHIB offers that whole diversity aspect of it. And the fact that no one has taken it on yet is amazing. They've taken on gold and silver to buybacks on their debt. And that's how the U.S. is able to keep gold from going up because they've hedged gold. Can you believe this? They hedged gold on the U.S. bonds. The U.S. bonds are worthless at this point in time. The fact that they can still trade those bonds and still offer those bonds to other organizations is because the other organizations understand that if they fail, they fail. You understand what I'm saying? So they can't sell the bonds. They only can keep buying the useless bonds, hoping that the U.S. is going to pay back their deficit. But the truth of the matter is that how are they going to be able to pay it back when the deficit's so high? And they can't keep it going forever. They're eventually going to have to start paying back the amount of money that they've taken on in order to secure those bonds, so it becomes more in demand. But what happens is right now they're trying to cut that spending like drastically. Even if they cut the spending by $3 or $4 trillion, it's still not going to make much of a difference when you have $9 trillion or $7 trillion outstanding in national debt every single, like that's right now, 7 trillion right now. And last night we did the count, in case you must have missed it because there was no volume so on the mic, so it was muted. I don't know how it got muted, but it was muted. And then what happens, of course, when the mic gets muted, of course, there's no volume, so you miss out on all the information that we talked about yesterday. We talked about the drive down in the whole crypto space. SHIB should never, ever go down. SHIB should only have one direction in theory, and that's up. But not everything can go up, right? But you have to understand something, that SHIB's always adding value to its currency. So every holder is they're adding more money to your holdings. And I know you don't understand that. And I was trying to use the terminology that land. So imagine that when we reduce the circulating supply, we're adding more land. So you're going to sell your land that you have more of for less value. Does that make sense? So why would you sell your land if it's got more value today than it did before? You wouldn't sell it. That's SHIB right there in a nutshell. But the best part is that you have more land. Now you can start selling that land. No, SHIB's still under a cent, guys. And for SHIB to get to a cent right now is phenomenal, right? It's phenomenal. The only way it's going to get there is there's only a couple of reasons why it would get there. One is everybody stops selling it. Every single person that holds it would stop selling it and wait for that ticker symbol to get to 1 cent. And then what happens? It drops like a knife because why? Everybody wants out at the same time. It's just fundamentals, right? But if you have more buyers than you do sellers, that's where it starts to drive in the awareness of it. And then people will be like, well, people can't afford it. Everybody in the world can afford $10, $15 right now. There's nothing, like if you had to wait a month to save $15, if it was a raffle ticket, you're only buying one raffle ticket a month, or 1 month, or you wait for an accumulation to buy a raffle ticket so that you can, better invest your money, so it gives you better odds, or not better odds, but it gives you more incentive to buy because there's more and more people buying raffle tickets, so it increases your chances of winning. No, it just means that if I win a lot more money. Exactly. So SHIB 50-50 raffle, the most I can win is £1 million. That's a lot in US. It's a lot in Canadian. It's a lot everywhere except in the UK. £1 million in the UK is a lot of money in the UK. Don't kid yourself. In Europe, it's a lot of money, right? It's because most of what's in Europe is euros, the United Union for the Europeans. But the problem is with the European Union is that majority of the countries underwater, okay, that are in the Union. The only one that's basically not is Germany, and they're basically on the flutter line of collapse too. In Britain, the BRICS, they wanted out of the Union because they're the ones paying the most money and getting the less out of out of it because it was driving down their currency. Now they're in trouble. Okay, so they're not in exactly great shape either. Cost them a lot of money to get out of it, but it was costing them even more money to stay in it. So that's why they got out of it. And then, of course, the U.S. currency, everybody owes the U.S. money. No, they own all these bonds, and they're basically junk. And they can't sell them because if they sell them, no one's going to buy them. So the only thing they have is they're hoping somehow, some way, they're going to be able to leverage it. Now, the only problem is with the bonds that the U.S. has is they've also leveraged it in gold. So that's why gold prices haven't escalated to the point of no return because those bonds are held in gold. So it's been leveraged in gold. So now the gold standard on U.S. currency has these bonds too. So you see how it works? Like it's a double-edged knife, right? If you sell the bonds or try and give them away or try and liquidate the bonds to give them back to the U.S. is not going to buy their bonds. When they know they're not worth anything, they're not going to buy them back. And the only reason why they would buy them back from the organizations is if they were actually in the green to buy them back, but they're not in that position. So here we have the bonds, the U.S. bonds that have $7 trillion in debt, the world's largest sum of debt in the world. So what are you going to do with these bonds? So now you can't sell them, but now you can't, if you stop buying them, you're basically having the U.S. basically try and fumble around to pay their people in a national crisis. So now it causes a national crisis because now all of a sudden the money's worthless. People understand that the money's worthless. We get hyperinflation instantly throughout the world. So you can't have that. So what do they try and do? They try and print more money, offer more bonds to the rest of the world. Those bonds, and then it starts a funneling, right? What do we do with these bonds that are not worth anything? We can't sell them. We buy more. We're buying more junk. And then we have to make a determination of who we're going to sell these bonds to. And then you're making a promissory note that you're going to be able to pay it back. So you're going to be able to pay it back because we're liquidating a whole bunch of assets in our own country. And now with the tariffs happening, adding even more instability in the marketplace, it's like a nightmare. right? All of a sudden, you're starting to realize just how bad things really can get really, really fast, because it's just one thing fumbles right over the other, and then everything's backed in useless currency. So that's the other problem. Okay, so the worldwide debt is sitting on currency that's not worth anything. So the majority of the G7 countries is now in trouble. And if you look at Russia, Russia's actually sitting pretty nice, but is that true value? Because it's communism. Communism means what? Party control. So remember that they control the national treasury. They control the outcome of that. No, no, no. What it is because it's communism, it's controlled by the centralized uh, creditors. They're the ones that say we are positive. It's it's that simple. So it's more like the U.S. with the propaganda saying that, oh, we're in good standing when they're definitely not. And then you have China saying the exact thing. We're in good standing, but we've had so many collapses that no, no, we're in good standing. But can you trust that? That's the whole purpose of that. That's why it's nor here nor there. Anyway, that was yesterday's topic of conversation, not today's topic of conversation. Today's topic of conversation is the blast off of SHIB. We want to talk about the downturns and upturns in the SHIB span to help wealth creation, and that's the whole purpose of today's topic of conversation. The whole gist of this is to increase everybody's wealth, and how do we do that? Okay, so the SHIB Worldwide 50/50 raffle is a kickoff of that event. So, in order for us to make sure that this goes faster and extremely quickly, is to buy tickets. Now, how does that happen? We buy tickets. We make waves happen. Okay, everybody needs to be aware of it. Everybody needs to be promoting it. If you want to make money, SHIB doesn't have any governing body. Again, I'm going to say this again for all those that missed it. SHIB does not have a governing body. And no, we can't sell tickets if the website was down. So yesterday we did not sell any tickets. The website was completely shut down for at least 26 hours. So thank you for everybody that was tuning in to understanding what was going on. Please keep that in mind. We are looking at different elements to go to different building sites. We're always looking at upgrading into that particular part so that we can make these easier and a lot easier to follow than what's been in the past, because 685 views in the last 6 months is, in my words, ridiculous. You're not going to sell any tickets with that kind of volume, period. I thought that because we're on webinar, they would have done everything that they can with their AI technology, with everything that they would have been able to promote my channel, give me better outlook, try to understand what we're trying to do here, and been like self-promoting SHIB Worldwide 50/50 raffle to the entire world. That has not happened. The SEO, if you look at SHIB, you can't even find us on SHIB. Like, I mean, come on. We're part of the SHIB community. We're a massive part of the SHIB community with these reduction in SHIB circulating supply that's supposed to happen, that hasn't happened because our voices are not being heard. And SHIB is completely decentralized. It's completely on its own. It has no ecosystem development team that's working to advertise SHIB in a way that should be advertised, and that is the reduction in SHIB circulating supply should be advertised daily. And same thing with value. It should be like on their channel. They have a website. It's called shib.io. On there, you look and see if you can find anywhere where it says value being added every single day. You don't find it anywhere. And what does that mean? It doesn't mean the price. It just means the value of SHIB is increasing every single day. So every time we do a reduction in SHIB circulating supply, we're adding value. Every time we get new wallet holders into SHIB, we're adding value. Now, does that reflect in the price? Well, if everybody bought 10 billion SHIB, yes, it would reflect in the price. But not everybody can afford to buy 10 billion SHIB. And why would you? Like 10 billion SHIB is a lot of SHIB to buy per person. That's ridiculous. 1 billion SHIB per person is another ridiculous statement, even though a lot of people will go, well, if it's a guaranteed investment, why wouldn't I stick that kind of money in it? It's like, well, you don't need to. You can, but you don't need to. And is it risky? Absolutely, it's risky. It's got volatility coming out your wazoo because 1.5 million wallet holders is a massive, massive validity problem. We need 30 to 40 million before we start stabilizing. We need 100 million, and then we are completely stabilized. You get 100 million, you'll always have more inflows and outflows because people start to realize that value is added when value is coming in. So you have more people coming in because you have more demand. Because now you have 100 million people, and those million people are just building on those million people, on those million wallets. And then they're trying to get more wallets, so they're going to build 3 or 4 different wallets in SHIB. So that means you got to put money in SHIB every single one of those transactions. And then we have companies and small companies and big companies taking advantage of the price situation in SHIB. So then you start seeing retail investment coming into SHIB. There's already retail investment in SHIB, but it's not at the point where it needs to be. So like Alibaba doesn't have any SHIB. Robinhood has massive amounts of SHIB, but there are an exchange. BlackRock, they're a big bank. They understand what value is. Trust me, they understand that very, very well because they own 47 trillion SHIB. So they understand that extremely well. India understands that extremely well because they have 35 trillion, which they were given. Not that they've earned it, they were given that SHIB, and they haven't sold any. They sold 5 trillion SHIB in the last 2 years, since 3 years, sorry, because SHIB's been around since 2020 of August, and Vladimir Putin did the 410 trillion SHIB burn back in June 2021. So you look at 2021 till now, we're running on that 4-year cycle for that, and we had that massive spike up in 2021 on the what they call the Bitcoin halving, and we took off just before Christmas. In January, we peaked at all-time highs in 2022. Okay, so we're headed toward 2026. We'll probably spike in a. But the thing is with SHIB is it should always be going in one direction, that is straight up, in theory. Because if we're always adding value to something, that means we're taking away the supply from somewhere else, and we don't have that option of replenishment. It's not available to anyone in the world. So this adds incredible wealth creation to anyone taking advantage of it now. Now the problem is people look at it and say, well, it goes down and up. That's why we strongly suggest that you look at it like a raffle ticket. Okay, you're holding a lottery ticket's worth of SHIB, $13. So if you only spend $13 every 2 weeks on a raffle, on a ticket, tickets, that's your gambling thing, and that's all you spend it on. We're telling you, why would you want to buy a lottery ticket when you can buy something that's going to guarantee you value in the long run? We just don't know when it's going to happen. Just like the collapse of the American dollar, when is it going to happen? We don't know. Nobody has a clue. But what would you rather be? Something that is adding value or something that's decreasing the value of the currency every single, like within seconds? Seconds. And SHIB should be going the opposite way just as fast. And it hasn't happened yet. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it should be hedged so as a liquidity pool against currencies. So instead of buying bonds, what they do is they wouldn't issue bonds. What they would do is issue SHIB and then use that as leverage on other countries' currency. And then when they pay back a loan or pay back a portion of that loan, not the US, of course, but other countries that are doing well, and they pay back that loan, they use a portion of that money to what? Push the value of their dollar up. No, they use it to reduce the circulating supply of SHIB with it. It in small amounts, guys. But the thing is, it happens every second of every day. Like every second of every day, you do it and switch the currencies back and forth. You know how many billions of SHIB at this low volume would have on it? Like this is why I bring forth the SHIB Worldwide 50/50 raffle tickets in the first place, is to build that awareness that shows you if we sell this many tickets, it reduces the circulating supply by this much. And also, if the value stays at this price, that means we also are able to sell more tickets. Not more tickets, same tickets, more SHIB available. So that means even more reduction in SHIB circulating supply. This increases the value astronomically and drives the driving force of SHIB to the roof. And we get a massive blast off, and we get green candles all the way through, because now we're building two things. We've got people coming in buying SHIB because they want to take part in the raffle draw, because it's a win-win situation. You win twice. You win, you lose, you win on the burn. because it's adding value. So the more we reduce, the better off we will be. So it's a win-win situation. So that's why I have a hard time understanding why there hasn't been too many people coming into the SHIB Worldwide 50/50 raffle. That's the number one cause that I'm having an issue with, because this is a no-brainer, right? You think about it. You're reducing the circulating supply, increasing wealth management to the rest of the world. And then we say, can SHIB go down? Absolutely. There's nothing stopping it from going down. Somebody wants to sell their land that they own more of for less value. Hey, knock your socks off. You can do whatever you want. People who are going through divorce and they need the money now. Okay, they split the house. They don't care about the loss because they're divorced, and because they're mad at each other, they have no problem taking the loss, which is ridiculous when you think about it. When like later on in life, you look back and say, "What the hell was I thinking? I was an absolute nutcase at that time, but I didn't want to give her nothing." And she's the same way. I didn't want to give him nothing. He didn't do anything for me. Um, he's fighting me with bills. He's fighting me on this. He's taking my credit cards, maxing them out, and then I'm left holding the bag. So you wouldn't sell the house at the maximum amount of value you could possibly get for it. You sold it at a loss, so you could get the hell out of it, so that you would walk away with nothing. A lot of people do that. That's what they do. They're not. They don't think. They don't even think twice about it. They just, those that are in money understand money. Those that don't understand money, and they shouldn't even have anything because they don't understand money. And especially when it comes to housing or real estate, it's like a for sure thing. No, it's not. But you understand that people need land. People need housing. They need to be sheltered. Um, and that's the truth of it. So if you want to be sheltered, that's what you do, right? That's the whole concept of it. So anyway, this is SHIB Worldwide 50/50 raffle. We are out of time for now, and I want to make sure that everyone understands what this wealth creation is all about. With what we're trying to do for the entire world is build on our commitment to you, the people, and to every organization on the planet to increase awareness for the SHIB Worldwide 50/50 raffle. No, increase SHIB educational to the world. Adding value shouldn't be something that's looked upon as a flash crash. SHIB should always be going in the other direction, right? Every time that we take on more debt, SHIB should be hedged against that debt, because it's the only currency in the world that's reducing its circulating supply. So they could be being hedged every second of every day just to break even on certain circumstances, certain situations. But it hasn't happened. It will eventually. It just hasn't happened yet. But I'm guaranteeing that everybody will eventually come forth and figure this out, because they're not. There's a lot of brilliant people out there who know what reducing the circulating supply of something is. And when it increases their wealth, they understand that too well, especially when it comes to deflationary. They understand what that means and where that's headed. And it's, a massive, massive bubble that has to do one or two things. Either they find a way to get rid of it, which they can't, or they find a new opportunity that opens up new doors that gives them a better understanding of that and how it's going to work. And now with AI on SHIB, it can happen in a heartbeat. And the worst part about it is SHIB is still undervalued. Like, it's under the price target on SHIB is ridiculously low. Like right now, we should be 3098, not going towards 5098. Like, that's just completely insanity right there. So we should be beyond new all-time highs. We've burned way more SHIB than what we had accumulated over the last year, 2 years. We've burned 400 trillion, 400 billion SHIB, 400 billion SHIB in 2 years. And where's the price? Back to where it was before it even started. And we have more wallet holders than we did before. So we have two things going for SHIB. We have more wallet holders, we have less supply, and yet the price is where it's at. It just tells you the amount of fear mongering that they're doing and the amount of manipulation going on with it. And SHIB should never, ever go down, period. So when it goes down, it's being manipulated. Trust me, at these lower levels, it's incredibly being driven lower by other exchanges that want more of it, or more central banks want to steal it from you. And it's just like the what we talked about before with the Great Depression, with the U.S. stealing everybody's gold just like with Bitcoin, throwing everybody in jail, saying it was criminal activity. I mean, they said anything that they could to steal it from people. They confiscated it from them and then kicked them out of the country or threw them in jail. And then they confiscated it all that they could find, and then they put it on the market. Did they put it on the market for less money? No, they put it on the market for more money and forced everybody to buy it at higher premiums. That's the truth of it. That's the US. Okay, so the rest of the world hasn't caught on to it, and I'm shocked that they haven't. But that just is baffling to me. And then they told everybody not to buy it because it's a hoax. Are you kidding me? They did the exact same thing with gold. They told everybody that they had to surrender their gold because the U.S. is in deep, deep trouble. In 1971, Nixon makes a statement saying that we no longer back our currency in gold. We are backing it by the people of the world, knowing that we're adding confidence to our, because they couldn't spend, their spending was cut because everybody was using gold instead of the U.S. currency as their trademark that they said that they wouldn't do. So because the U.S. backed in U.S. in gold at that time, now they couldn't get a hold of the spending then. They can't get a hold of the spending now. So let's see this. Hey, look, nice hair day. Hey, June, don't mean to brag. My hair is out of place. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great, wonderful day. We're going to rock you out. Thank you for coming in and taking part in today's events. And yes, the website's up and running again. Thank you so much for everybody coming in and tuning in. Massive love shout to Prince. Good job tonight. Thanks, man. No problem, Prince. Good to see you. Prince is my trustee. He's also my marketing director. We are working with the director. We're working with marketing to get things kicking sooner than better. Massive love shout out to Jason Cox. I know they don't see you. Last night we did put a video out, but there's no volume on that video. Again, sorry about that. And the video is about the crash, not the burn, but the crash in the crypto space. Now that's the whole crypto space took a dive. Anytime the crypto space takes a dive, unfortunately, SHIB takes a ride with it. That's the only unfortunate part. Now, SHIB shouldn't, as everyone knows, SHIB should never take a dive. It should always go in one direction because it's always adding value. We have more wallet holders than we ever did. We have less supply than we have in the previous period because there's no replenishment. There's zero replenishment. And promotion comes from everybody in SHIB. Okay, so yes, it's sort of like a cult, but it's not because SHIB doesn't have any governance. So if you have no governance, you have no one promoting it, and that's the truth of it. So SHIB is basically everybody has to promote it that owns it. That's the thing when you own SHIB. No governance also means that there's no marketing, there's no directors, there's no one involved to help it speed things up, except for the SHIB Worldwide 50/50 raffle, which we're here to take your comments and concerns and see where we go from there. And if anyone asks about utility, we have a massive utility. It's called a reduction in SHIB circulating supply. Our catalysts are us, the people. We are the catalyst. Okay, so you want SHIB to go up, you have to pump it and tell everybody, tell your friends, family, everybody about SHIB. It's that simple. You just look at them and say, okay, who wants to make money? Put your hand up. Whoever wants to make money. This is really simple, right? Who wants to make money? Put your hand up. You want to make money? Okay, excellent. Get to know SHIB. Okay, get in there, get to know SHIB. I know what SHIB's all about. Don't listen to the ecosystem development team because they're only there to pump their products. So their whole initialization is to get you in SHIB, okay, but not to buy SHIB, just to get you to look at SHIB. And then they want you to tell you that they're in control of SHIB, even though they don't promote SHIB at all. And when they do promote SHIB, it's to pass on, like if you took a look at Treat was a flop, okay? They tried to get everybody in SHIB to look at Treat to buy Treat, and no one did. People are finally catching on to what the ecosystem development team is doing. the Shiboshis, same thing with the NFTs. The SHIB army or SHIB ecosystem. I don't want to say army because we're part of that army. Okay, the SHIB ecosystem development team are trying to hijack SHIB, the name, from everybody. And by doing that is actually harming SHIB, because now what's happening is SHIB is being looked upon as an extremity of the ecosystem development team, which it isn't. It's a hijacking. It's the biggest hijacking that you could think of when it comes to just the name, right? They're hijacking the name to push their narrative. And we don't like this to be negative on everybody, but we do like to keep the truth going, because that's our integrity. That's where we come in, and that's where we want to everybody to understand, right? So yes, we want to sell tickets. Absolutely, we want to sell tickets. Absolutely, we want to make sure that you get your wealth creation going in the right direction, and that's our bottom line to everybody around the world. So we don't care where you're from or what you're doing. We want to do massive shout outs to everybody around the world. So we're going to do North America, massive shout out to you. South America, massive shout out to you. Antarctica, massive shout out to you. Europe, massive love shout out to you. Greenland, Iceland, massive love shout out to you. Czechoslovakia and Russia, massive love shout out to you. For Asia, and of course we're live from the Philippines, so we want to give the Philippines a big round of applause. 57 views in 10 days from the Philippines. Massive love shout out to you. New Zealand, Australia, massive love shout out to you. Again, we want to thank everybody in the world for tuning in and having fun in today's events. And yes, we are looking at a rocket of a comeback in SHIB. And we look forward to seeing everybody come in, because SHIB doesn't have a halving, never have, never will, because we're always reducing the circulating supply. No matter how you look at it, we're always reducing circulating supply. SHIB just give you back $28,000 in the last week. Can you believe that? 28,000 USDT, over 28,000 USDT given back to every single member in the SHIB community. Now, which community is doing that for you? You name a community that's doing that for you. The U.S. has no problem giving you bonds, worthless bonds, telling you that they are worth something. Hey, I wonder when else was like that. Oh, the CDOs, right? Back in 2008, even now, the CDOs, which are backed in what? People that can't pay their mortgages, or people who are delinquent on their payments of their mortgages. And then they try and sell them off as AAA credit or triple B credit to everybody, because they're trying to get rid of it, because it's money on their balance books that they want to get rid of. But the only way that someone's going to buy it is that they see value in it. That's what the narrative is pushing for. And that's where the dishonesty comes in, and that's where the distrust comes in. With SHIB, it's pretty simple. It's always adding value, constantly. The reason why it's not getting the publicity that it deserves, a lot of people don't understand that value, because it's not reflected in price. The value, very, 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 very few ever reflects in price, especially when there's no coverage covering it. And that's the whole point of the SHIB Worldwide community, right? The whole community needs to take part in SHIB, because SHIB is on its own. You can't depend on the ecosystem development team to spread the word. Absolutely not, because they're not going to tell you what the value of that SHIB is. They're going to tell you about the value of their currencies that they're trying, their narrative, trying to make them money. Every financial institution right now is on the brink of disaster, because they have to invest money into other financial institutions. If those financial institutions aren't honest, or trying to figure out new ways to rob people, or to come up with ways of building, but you can't build on something if it's constantly being teared down. Does that make sense? The only way you build wealth is when the markets are all going up, because the financials is dependent on banking sectors. So mortgages, mortgage backs, stuff like that. People don't want to buy mortgages anymore, right? So they want to stay. They got all these rules and regulations against mortgages right now. So most of the financial institutions deal with mortgages, just so that you know, okay? So if no one's buying mortgages from third parties, because the trust is not there from those third parties, then the money can't transfer. If the money can't transfer, that's when it causes problems, and that's when people start making big mistakes with financials. Okay, so the financial industry right now is on a brink of its own problems because they have to pay CEOs. They have to pay CEO, CFO, administration, R&D. They have to pay for R&D, the whole spectrum of how they lend money to every single person on the planet. And then if they can't sell it to a major bank, they're on the hook for all that money, and that's what they don't want. Third party banks only lend the money to riskier people because it increases the amount of money that they're worth. But if nobody wants to buy them because there's no trust in the marketplace, that's when there's a problem, and that's when the mistakes happen, and that's when things fall apart fast with financials. Crypto space is no different than financial companies. That's why it's hard to get a grasp of it, and that's why it goes down with the markets. It should be deleveraging the currencies, not it should be backed by deleveraging the currencies, but it's not. It's keeping the same mentality of the financial institutions because they're backed by those financial institutions that were once the driving force of those countries or communities, because that's where they left it. Okay, I couldn't make money in the stock market because of the collapse, and the financials kept falling apart. Now the financials are starting to get a little bit of a lag and starting to move up, and then layoffs are happening. So now we're having a problem with layoffs. Again, the lending of money now becomes tighter and tighter because they're seeing a narrative problem with the whole prospectus on the economy. So that's why it is so hard to get fundamentally moving. And then you got organizations trying to tell you that, oh no, we have the best products. I'm going to say this again to you, everybody. Please keep this in mind. When you own something and you know it's not good, what are you going to do to get rid of it? Are you going to sit there and tell everybody the honest truth about it, and then they got to make a decision based on the honesty, or are they going to go with somebody that's saying, "Hey, listen, I got the best product, even though it's not worth anything because it's in such turmoil," but they make it sound like it's the best thing on the market because they want to promote it, they want to get rid of it. But the only way they can do that is to sell it to you. So they're all about you taking it on, believing that it's the best thing in the world and you need it or else, right? That's the narrative. So a good salesman will try and pony up to it and say that you need this. Like, you remember the Wolf of Wall Street where he says, "Can you sell me this pen?" Exact same thing. He wanted to tell you that, "Oh, I don't need a pen. I already have 5 others." But this one is Streamline pen. So this is the best pen in the world for you. It'll never fail. And the best part about this pen is that it comes with um, ink that you can put back into the pen, so you always have it. So you'll never have to buy another pen. And what do you need a pen for? You need to write your name on your checks. You need to write notes, take notes on companies that you were looking at before, or you're looking at investment potentials. You might want to write those down. You might want to write down some information that's based on SHIB, so that you'll know that and have that for later on. You want to do some due diligence, find out what SHIB's all about. First thing people do when they look up the SHIB, they look at the ecosystem development team because it's the first thing that shows up on the if you go into the information on it. Remember that they didn't do SHIB development, didn't come around until 1 year after the fact, uh, after Vladimir Buterin burned 410 trillion of it, and then they took notice of it, and that's when they started their website. That's when they started their drive for SHIB. Once everybody understood what the 410 trillion meant, they jumped right in there like a dirty shirt and took advantage of it. And no one else did. So congratulations to them. And they did do a lot for SHIB. They did do a massive reduction of 56 billion. We won't forget about that. Um, but they weren't honest. That leaves a sour taste in everybody's mouth. Just like us with the Liberals in Canada, that left a very sour, bitter taste in their mouth about the Liberal campaign. And that did any of them do anything to get rid of Trudeau? Absolutely not. Did any of them do anything to help Canada? Nothing. Okay, so it's the same thing. You lie, and then you expect everybody to believe your lies. how many people are going to do that. Anyway, I'm Will, your host. Thank you so much for everybody coming in. Thanks, Prince, for coming. Really appreciate you coming in tonight. I heard it's snowing in Calgary. That's not good. We'll be back on the 7th of April or 6th of April. So back in Calgary, back in New York room. Right. So I'm Will, your host. Thank you so much for coming in and having a great and wonderful time with us. And I hope you love the show. Please keep in mind that this show is about you. Everybody in the world wants to make money. Everybody wants to have wealth creation. Everybody in the world wants more money, right? And that's SHIB is the way that everybody can make more money. And right now, with the prices so low in SHIB, it's phenomenal how ridiculous this price is. Again, 410 trillion SHIB were burned in 2021. We have added to the reduction of SHIB circulating supply over 458 billion removed. 458 billion SHIB removed. We have more wallet holders, we have more reductions, and the price is less than where it was at all-time highs. And we have less supply and more demand. Are you kidding me? That's why I'm saying it's undervalued. You have no idea how undervalued SHIB is until you start looking at the fundamental facts. Those are your fundamental facts. And that's why SHIB is so undervalued. And that's why you need to get in it. And that's why you treat it like a lottery. You can. It 1 million SHIB. If someone says to you that's not enough, you will never retire on 1 million SHIB, you don't get the fundamentals. You just don't. Less supply, more demand. Less supply, more demand. We have way less supply than we did back in 2021. We are still undervalued according to that statute. So if someone says to you, well, you'll never retire. Well, 10 times my money from here, 20 times my money from here is a lot better. Even if it's $10, 10 times my money is $100 from $10. Are you kidding me? I invested $13. 10 times my money is $130. So 20 times my money is how much? Right, $260, right? That's the whole thing, right? $13, $130. Twice your money from there is $260. For what? Holding SHIB. That's it. And then where can you see it go from there? Well, by that time, we probably have 10 to 15 million wallet holders in SHIB. If things go really slow, and that's if they go really slow, there should be a huge account for everybody buying SHIB. And that means every single organization out there to buy SHIB. And that includes the financial sector, because they understand the solidifying themselves as a currency should be buying more and more SHIB. Every single currency out there should be buying more SHIB. So all the cryptocurrencies, because they know SHIB, they should be buying SHIB. Every single organization on the planet should be buying SHIB, because it solidifies their position as a hedge against the financial crisis that's happening. But that's just my opinion? No, that's just facts, people. That's just facts. Anyway, I'm Will, your host. Thank you so much for coming in, and we're going to say goodnight, but we're going to rock you out. As always have a fun time. We're all about you, the people. We're all about you making money. We want to help you create your own wealth situation by understanding what SHIB is going to do for the entire planet. That's our driving force forever. For the correlation of the SHIB Worldwide 50/50 raffle. Once the raffle gets started, guys, we're looking at less than 3 years. 3 years. And SHIB, we will make SHIB hit $38 per pound, or we will be at that 2 billion level, kicking towards the 1 billion level in SHIB circulating supply. By that time, would be about 38 billion SHIB. No, SHIB should be worth about 100. Always, SHIB should be around that $200 billion mark in valuation, only because of the reduction in SHIB circulating supply is always going to gain in value. Always, always, always going to gain in value with every single organization, every single company, every single financial institution buying SHIB, then reducing the circulating supply. And they get kickbacks from their governments all over the world because it increases their wealth as well. So it's a win-win-win-win situation for every single person on the planet. I'm shocked, shocked. This has not reached everybody. I'm like flabbergasted that it has hit the whole spectrum because it is reducing its circulating supply. And for people to short SHIB or to try and buy more at a lower price, are you kidding me? This is low, like extremely low. But people want everything for nothing. There's no falsehood in there, right? Absolutely not. Anyway, we'll rock you out. Do. SHIB, baby. Woo! 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 Thanks, Brent, for coming. Thanks, babes. Thanks, Gwen. Thanks, Rowena. Really appreciate it. Jason Cox in the house. Massive love shout out to you, my brother. Hope everything is going good in the States. We want to say God bless everybody in Thailand, Bangkok, and what city was that was humbled yesterday from earthquakes. We want to say massive love shout out to them. We want to make sure that everybody prays for them and prays for everybody that was suffering through forest fires in Oklahoma. In Oklahoma City. One massive love shout out to everybody in the entire world. Jesus loves everybody. So we want to make sure we get that message loud and clear to every single person on the planet. Thank you so much for tuning in to another SHIB Worldwide 50/50 raffle brought to you today by the SHIB community, SHIB Army, the only army that makes sure you are fighting against everything that's wrong by adding value to SHIB, by adding value to you, SHIB holders. Somebody burned 1 billion SHIB. They took credit for it on X. If someone could please pass that information on to me so I can make sure that they get awareness for that, because that's massive. We want to say love shout to them for burning $14,000 worth of SHIB. That's a massive burn and massive love shout to them. So if you're on, make sure you put a like on the comment, subscribe to the channel. Every time someone does a burn, we want to make sure we give the right person, right organization, the amount of credit for it. Absolutely want to make sure we do that, because that's massive love show to them for doing that. And God bless each and every one of them that do it. Thank you. I'm Will, your host, and have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night from wherever you are in the world. This is the SHIB Worldwide 50/50 raffle saying so long, peace, live long and prosper, every single person out there. Woo! Good night. God bless.